Hello guys, it's your boy Winswape here, and in today's tutorials we are going to talk about how we can connect our Flutter app to the server and retrieve data. So with this we are going to use the HTTP package. For us to add the HTTP package, let's open our browser and let's get to this site, which is pub.dev. So pub.dev, pub.dev like this, and which will bring us to this site, and let's search for HTTP. So we are going to use this HTTP, and as you can see we have it neatly documented here. So let's install it into our Flutter app. Let's get the Flutter pop add. So I'll copy it and I'll get to my terminal. Then I'll make sure to paste it in. Let's first check our pubspec.yaml. We have nothing here, so I'm going to press enter for us to bring in the package. Yeah, so we have the HTTP package inside our Flutter app, and we are also going to use JSON placeholder. So you Google JSON placeholder, we are going to use that one as our backend. Then it's a free fake REST API. We are going to use the post endpoint. Is similar way for all these endpoints, but I guess let's go for the post endpoint. And this is how the data is. It is in a JSON format. So yes, let's bring it inside our Flutter app. For us to connect our app to the server and retrieve the data, let's first create a file which we call post model.dat. And inside this post model, we are going to create a class and a constructor which will use it to retrieve the data into our Flutter app. So let's create this class which I will call post model. And let's give it a few variables. We'll first have final int user ID. You now have final int ID and final string title. This one is for the body. So I'm getting all this data from the model. We have ID, title, body, and whatever. But with this naming, you can choose to name it whatever that you want, but I prefer leaving it the way that it is from the server. So let's create this constructor. We are not going to use this constructor. We are now coming to create the constructor that we are going to use, which is very simple to create. So let's create our post model dot. Let's call this constructor from what? JSON. Like this. It will be of a map string dynamic, and let's call this one JSON. So what are we expecting? We are expecting user ID JSON. So here I just don't want to mess up with the name, so I can come here, then I'll copy the user ID exactly like so and bring it inside my app, comma, then I have the ID, which is very easy to spell, so this one I'm not going to copy it. ID. Then we have the title. Then I'll come here for the title. And we have the body too as well, equals to JSON, just to avoid errors. That's the reason why I'm copying it like this. And yeah, so this is the constructor that we are going to use. So for us to use this constructor, let's come into our main.dat and let's get rid of the code that we are not going to use. So we are not going to use this home page class. Let me delete this one. And let's get rid of all these comments to make the code very simple for us to read. And let me call this one home page like this, because I'm going to create a stateless widget, because I'm going to create a class called homepage, which will be of a stateless widget. So stl like this, home page. Okay. Then I'll change this one to a scaffold, and I'll give it an app bar of title, HTTP connection like this. And let's give it, so let's save, and so we now have it. Let's give it a background color. So we have a background color. It will be of colors dots. Green like this. So yes, for us to connect our app to the server and retrieve the data using the HTTP package, let's create a function which will be of a type future, and let's pass in our list like this, and also the post model, and let's call this one get data. Yeah, get data like this. And let's come here so that you'll be able to copy the URL. So let's copy it. You copy it from here, then you bring it here. I'll call it final URI like this, and let me put it inside the quotation mark. So for us to get our data, let's wrap our function with a try catch block, but we are going to use the async await format. The reason why we are using the async await format is we are going to make a network request, and there are going to be a whole lot of internal process that will go on during the request section. So we need to await on certain process for it to finish before we will be able to display the data for the user to see it. So let me create a variable called response, right? So rest like this, which is my response. Then, like I said, we are going to await on our HTTP dot get. We are getting an error because I haven't imported the HTTP into my Flutter app. So let's do the import. Readme. So I'm going to copy this one, import package HTTP as HTTP. Let me bring the import here. and now our error is gone. So for this, let's pass the URI. So URI dot path like this, which already have the URI. So we now have our URI, and like I said, let's wrap all this code with a try catch block. So try catch, and let's throw an exception. Like so. So I can now bring it in like this, and we now have the response. So let's create another variable which I'll call JSON data like this, which will JSON which will JSON decode. And what we will do, we'll pass in our res dot body like this as a list of dynamic like this, and we will return our JSON data. So JSON data dot map. So we will map through our data, and then we pass it to our post model. This one with this constructor, then to what? To list. So yes, using the package, this is the function that we need to get our data into our Flutter app. So let's put this function inside a future builder so that you'll be able to retrieve our data. So let's give it a body of type future builder. So we have our future, then we have our builder. So let me pass in my list of the post model. Post model, which is this one. Let's replace the future with get data, and let's now create the builder. So this is our builder, and for us to create this builder, let's check if our snapshot has data, or what is the state of our snapshot. So we are going to use a simple if statement, which will check for snapshots. Snapshot dot connection state equals connection state dot waiting. Then here we are going to return a constant center circular progress indicator. And also, so we now have this. Let's make our, so we are now returning a circular progress indicator. So we are now returning a circular progress indicator. Let's now get the data into our app. And with this, let's check if our snapshot has data by using an else if statement. So we'll check snapshot dot has data. So if it has data, then let's create this variable which I'll call my post, and then I'll give it the data. So it will be snapshot dot data. Then let me first unwrap this data for the post, and let's return a list view builder. So list view builder, this one. So we will need an item count, which will be the length of my post. So my post dot length. Let's now create this item builder. We don't want to complicate things, so we are just going to create a card and a list tile. But before we do that, let's create this variable and store the post to it. So the post will be of my post, and then you pass in the index of it. So as we now have this, let's return a card, right? And let's give the card a child of list tile. And with this list tile, let's give it a title of text. And let's pass in the post dot. You give it the title. And it also have another parameter called subtitle. So you take the subtitle, which will also be of a text widget. And with this text widget, you also pass in the post and you will get the body of the post. So yes, let's return a container in this section like this. And so this is all that we need to get the data into our Flutter app. So let me save and do a hot restart. We now have our circular progress indicator, and let's hope that we'll be able to get the data. Yeah. So this is how we can get a data from the server into our Flutter app using the HTTP package. So let's cross check to find out if we are getting the right data from the database or from the server. So which is this one. So the title match with the title, have you seen? And the body is also matching. And if you come here too, you'll be able to read more about the HTTP package and how you'll be able to set it up all by yourself. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.